Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of structure in written expression. It's me, Julie, and this time I'll be talking about inverted subject and verb. Let's get started, yeah? Inverted subject and verb means the position of the subject and the verb in a sentence are inverted. Normally, in a sentence with common structure, the subject comes first, right? And the verb comes next. This is what we know. It turns out it is not the only way of writing a sentence in English. There is an inverted version where the verb comes first and then the subject comes next. You might be asking, why do they have to be inverted? Just let them be, okay, like in a common structure. But again, it is a language. A language has styles. Inverted subject and verb is one of the styles. You have to be aware of it and you have to understand the structure of inverted subject and verb in English because it is common to see this kind of structure in TOEFL test. This time I'm going to show you 5 situations in which subject and verb are inverted. The first is in question words. You know, in questions with WH questions words like what, which, where, how, when, and the others. The structure is like this: question word, verb, and subject. The verb that comes first can be the be verb or the auxiliary. You know the auxiliary, right? Like does, do, did, has, or have. Let's check the examples. In this example, we can see what. But this sentence is not a question. It is a statement. So the function of what here is as a connector of a noun clause. You still remember, yeah? So after what, we still have the common structure, subject and verb. But in the second example, you see that the subject and verb are inverted. This is the what, and we have the auxiliary. You see did, and the subject. Once again, the verb that comes first is the auxiliary, okay? The main verb still stays at the back after the subject. The conclusion is, if in a sentence you see a WH question word, the subject and the verb are not inverted if it is not a question, but they are inverted if it is a question like this. Alright, that is the first one. And the second situation is when a sentence has a place expression and it is located in the beginning of the sentence. Examples of place expressions is like behind the door, on the table, nowhere, here, or there, and mediante more. That indicates place. The structure is place expression followed by the verb, again auxiliary or the be verb, and the subject. Let's check the examples here. In the first one, the subject and the verb are not inverted. You might be asking, Miss Julie, what is your problem? You said that if the sentence has a place expression in the beginning of the sentence, then the subject and the verb must be inverted. Hold on, everyone. There's one more thing that you should know. If the place expression is just additional information, then the subject and the verb are not inverted. That means even without this place expression, the sentence still makes sense. So this place expression is only additional information, okay? In that case, the subject and the verb are not inverted. And the other clue that you can see is the use of comma after place expression. It may indicate that the place expression is just additional information. You get it? It is different from the second example. The place expression is important. I mean, if you delete this, the sentence will not make sense. You see, just read, are many popular football players? What does that mean? So you need a place expression which is essential in the sentence. In that case, the subject and the verb are inverted. So you see, this is the place expression, this is the verb, which is a be verb, and then this is the subject. Now let's move on to the third situation. Inverted subject and verb can happen when there is a negative expression in a sentence. Negative expressions can be indicated by these words here. Please take a look of this. But remember, please pay attention to this. The subject and the verb are inverted if these negative expressions are placed before the subject. Then the subject and verb are not inverted. The inverted structure is negative expression, verb, and subject. Now let's see the examples here. I did not miss a question, comma, and she did not either. The subject and the verb are not inverted because the negative expression comes after the subject. You see, which is not either. Let's compare this one to the second one. I did not miss a question, and neither did she. Neither is one of the negative expressions, and it has the same meaning as not either. You see, this is the negative expression, this is the verb or the auxiliary, and this is the subject. You know, the use of the auxiliary depends on the tense, okay? Because in front it is simple past tense, then in here we must use simple past tense. If this is simple present, like I do not, then in here we should use does she. Situation number 4 is in conditionals. Subject and verb inversion can happen in conditionals by omitting the if. For example, in type 1, by using should, the structure is should subject, comma, subject verb. This is an example of a normal structure. Yeah? If you should need help, comma, I will be here. The inverted version is should you need help. You see, this comes first and then followed by the subject, and you omit the if. Another example is like, should you have any question, comma, you can let me know. In type 2, we use be verb were, okay? The structure is were subject, comma, subject verb. In a normal structure, we will write, if I were you, I would take the chance. In the inverted version, we omit the if and position the were, the be verb, to the front. So it comes before the subject. Were I you, comma, I would take the chance. In type 3, we omit the if and put the word had to the front. So the structure is had subject, comma, subject verb. Or it is possible to make the had in the middle of the sentence, so it becomes subject verb, had subject. For example, in a normal structure sentence, we write, if I had known it, comma, I would have told you, or I would have told you if I had known it. They are just the same, okay? Just the position of the connector is different. And it is possible to invert the subject and verb, becomes had I known it, so you omit the if. Had I known it, comma, I would have told you. Or I would have told you had I known it. These sentences will make sense more easily if you understand the structure of conditional sentence. So I suggest you learning conditional sentences type 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now I'm going to show you how inverted subject and verb can happen in comparison expressions. The structure is subject, verb, comparison expression, verb, subject. So the inversion happens after the comparison expressions, okay? In a normal sentence, we will write, she has done the task faster than I have. This is a normal one. You see, this is the comparison expression, subject, and verb. Pretty normal for us. However, it is also possible to see a sentence like this. She has done the task faster than have I. See, this is the comparison expression, and this is the verb, auxiliary, and this is the subject. This verb or this auxiliary, again, depends on the tense. Everyone, is now time for practice. Like usual, check the missing part. Everyone, this is quite a long sentence here. There are more than two clauses. This is the first clause. You see, this is connector, subject, and verb. We have comma, subject, and verb. This is another clause. And this is the other connector. That means what is missing is the other clause, which is subject and verb, right? A clause consists of subject and verb, right? Now let's review A until D. Option A has subject and verb, but it is not correct grammatically because it has didn't, but it uses to. To is for positive sentence, yeah? If it is didn't, we need either. Most of the crew didn't either. That is correct. So this is eliminated. Now let's see B. Neither most of his crew did. There is a negative expression here, neither, and it displays before the subject and verb. That means the subject and verb are supposed to be inverted, right? But in here, they are not. It is still normal structure, subject, verb. So I'll eliminate B. And C, we have a negative expression here, and it is placed in front, same as B. And here, the verb comes first before the subject. So it is possible to have C as the answer, right? But I'm gonna keep it first because we still have D to review. Okay, D. D is quite similar to A. It has subject and verb, yes, but the use of also is not correct. It's supposed to be didn't either. This is eliminated, so I can finalize my answer that it is C. This is the second one. Let's check what is missing. Alright, this is the structure of the sentence. We've got a subject here, noise pollution receives as the verb, and we've got comparison expression, which is signed by less attention than, and we've got a blank here, then the subject. I might say that the sentence is already correct and it makes sense, but there is still a blank here. It means there is a possibility for inverted subject and verb with comparison, yeah? You remember the pattern is subject verb, comparison, verb subject. So we need a verb which can be in a form of a be verb or an auxiliary. Then I'm gonna choose A because this is in present, receives. It must be in present as well, and thus is the auxiliary of a singular subject in simple present tense. You know, air pollution is singular subject, yeah? But I'm still gonna review it a bit. B and C are wrong because they do have subject, which we don't need anymore. We've got a subject, which is air pollution. And C is wrong because it is a preposition. So yeah, we've got the answer, thus. So that is the end of my explanation. Once again, your awareness of those 5 situations that I have mentioned before will help you find alternatives to fill the blank in the sentences. I hope this video helps. See you in the next one.